So here we have Admiral James T. Kirk from Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. You are looking at a custom figure here. This is the Art Asylum Diamond Select body with the McFarlane head sculpt, and I have used milliput to create new hair for him. And in my opinion, I think it works fairly well. It certainly works a lot better than what we had as a previous model. If you look at the previous offering from Diamond Select, the head sculpt was never great for this figure at all. And it's such a shame because he is such an iconic character, and I think it's something that a lot of people really, really would want on their collections. We've got the upcoming XO6 figure coming, which is looking amazing, and I'm sure a lot of people like myself can't wait to get that. But also, I think it's really nice to have a 6 or 7 inch figure scale, because it's my intention to build out a bridge eventually for the TNG and Wrath of Khan crew with my 3D printer. So I'm hoping to kind of have them all on display, and that's just something that's probably a bit difficult with the 1/6 scale. But we do desperately need an update to these figures. I find it really surprising that no one has done this Kirk since, the times of Diamond Select, with the exception of the new Playmates line, which is now dead. And it was a nice little Kirk they had in there, but obviously it's not the same level of detail that you would expect from the 7-inch scale. So fingers crossed Super 7 do end up continuing some of their line in Star Trek, and that they do move into something like the Wrath of Khan, because just to get a good head sculpt at least would be great for this figure. So I have to say, this is my second figure I've ever done any sort of sculpting on the hair. So I'm by no means an expert at all. And I think when you look at it like this, it's quite unforgiving. On the shelf, it does, in my opinion, look quite good. And I think when you look at him in good light, like I've got some natural light photos that I took earlier today, just through the window, trying to create that little Rembrandt effect on his face. And, he looks a lot better there. So you can see with good lighting, he does look good. And obviously, you're never going to look this close up generally anyway. You are going to generally be a feet or so away. He does look a bit young. He should be a bit older. And if I was a better customizer and painter, then I might, learn how to age him a little bit. Maybe one day I will. But at the moment, I don't have the skills set to do that. And I don't want to ruin that face sculpt. And in my opinion, that face sculpt is fantastic. I mean, McFarlane absolutely nailed the original series figure. So basically we have got the Diamond Select Art Asylum body. We've got the McFarlane original series Kirk head sculpt with a complete resculpted hair using milliput. For anyone who's unfamiliar with any of this stuff, I'm no expert at all. Honestly, I'm quite a beginner at this. It took me maybe half an hour, I would say, to do the hair. All I did was I used some images from XO6 to look at their head sculpt, and I had the Diamond Select head sculpt as well in front of me. So I just kind of copied both of those to try and give me a sort of an idea of how the hair should shape. So the tools I used was a small screwdriver, like one of these tiny little sort of flathead screwdrivers, which you just use to shape the edges of the hair. And then you just use your thumb, fingers, just to, really push the milliput down into place, then start to fine tune it with that screwdriver. Once you've got everything in place, then you can get a pin or a needle and start to draw those lines of hair in. I thought I'd done a bit of a shoddy job, but when I waited for it to dry and painted it the next day, it looked way better than I thought it was going to look. So it's definitely a good upgrade to do. And then afterwards, I just hit it with a sort of a matte spray that seals the paint on the figure. Before I hit it with the spray, I just sort of tried to remove some of the paint with just a toothpick and a little bit of alcohol, just to kind of get rid of a few of the blemishes where I'd sort of gone over. And one of the other things I've done is to upgrade the hands. So the good thing is that it seems that the new Super 7 Ultimates figures from the next generation the hands seem to be compatible with the Diamond Select ones, which is quite good because, as you can see, the hands are quite dated with the Diamond Select figures. I think they do age the figures, so it's nice to have these newer sculpted hands available. So you could raid Riker and Picard's spare hands to help upgrade some of your Diamond Select figures. And hopefully that will also be the case with characters like Worf, if you wanted to try and kit bash between Diamond Select and Super 7, which is something I'm going to have a look at and will be looking at in one of my next videos coming up once those figures are in hand. I'm hoping to get those in the next week or two. Now, also the other thing to bear in mind is that Diamond Select Art Asylum figures, the neck and the head are one piece, whereas the McFarlane figure, the neck and the head are two pieces. I really like the original series Kirk body, and I didn't really want to destroy it. I think the only real option to get that neck off is probably to scalpel that neck away. So what I did is I had a cheap knockoff Necker figure kicking around, and I just chopped the neck off of that. I wasn't worried about it. Just cut the neck off, and I've blue tacked that onto the Diamond Select figure, and Kirk's McFarlane head then was able to actually pop straight onto that neck. It was a fairly good fit. So it is prone to potentially falling off a little bit. So if you took your time and looked into it, you could get something which is probably going to be more secure. But for me, blue tack, I can angle it whatever way I want. There's enough blue tack in there, it will stay in place. And once I put my figures in place, I don't generally move them much anyway. So for me, that's fine. The book he's holding there, I know it's probably not accurate to the film, but that is the Picard from the Super 7 Ultimates line. That's his complete works of Shakespeare, so I just thought that'd be nice to put in. And here's Kirk with the original series Kirk, so you can see where the head sculpt came from originally, and the original hair versus the new hair I've sculpted. I haven't actually removed any of his old hair, so it's all still underneath. I didn't scalp or anything off. I just put straight over that hair and sculpted it. It was kind of helpful that he's obviously got bigger hair, that kind of 80s cut. I do think the McFarlane figures are, in my opinion, the best bodies that have been done. Super 7 Ultimates bodies, I'm not a big fan of. The Diamond Select figures bodies are quite dated now, but the McFarlane Picard body and the McFarlane Kirk body, they just stand great. The proportions are really good. The articulation's good. They just look fantastic. So here he is with Spock, and yeah, you can see, if you look at the hands, there's just like night and day, really. Apologies for the colours here. I've been filming under some sort of like yellow tungsten kind of light, which was messing up my settings a bit, and I've struggled to colour balance that. It's turned Spock a bit greeny yellow. It's a bit unfortunate, really, that now I've done this upgrade on Kirk, I'm now looking at Spock and thinking, I really need to upgrade this figure now. But I don't really know what else is available in terms of 7-inch, I think as far as I'm aware, it's just the Diamond Select Art Asylum figures, so it's obviously limited. Might have a little look through and see if there's anything that I can do with that. Perhaps there's a good sculpt that could be repainted. That might be another option. And here's Kirk with Picard. If you've watched my previous video, you will have seen this Picard, which is the McFarlane body for Picard with one of the Super 7 heads, which is my preferable option now for the best 7-inch Picard that's available. I think they display fairly nicely, and as 3 captains, the original series Kirk, the Wrath of Khan Kirk, and this Picard, they look good together. And here we've got Kirk with Spock and McCoy. So that kind of wraps it up for this video. As I say, I've got another video coming soon, which should be looking at Locutus, Riker, Worf, and Data from Super 7, and comparing those to the Diamond Select figures, seeing if any parts could be swapped, any heads swapped. It would be fantastic if one of the companies like Mezco, Super 7, NECA, were able to produce a modern toy line of these Wrath of Khan figures, because they are in quite a need of update. But since Kirk is the main man, this at least could help some people out there if they really wanted to update their figures. It's a good option, and as I say, I am a beginner customizer myself, so if I can do this, then anyone can. So stay tuned for my next video, which will be coming very soon.